Greetings and welcome back once again. I know I say that a lot, right? This is Amuna Yisrael, Soulonomics 101, and I know I have been under a rock. I don't watch a lot of movies, but the opportunity has presented itself of late for me to take a look at some of the entertainment. I was walking through the store yesterday, and I'm like, wow, there's a lot of entertainment. Like America or just the world at this point consumes a lot of entertainment as it relates to television, music, movies. So this particular movie is a review. Of course, I'm going to review it through the lens of Soulonomics, through the lens of the Lev Project. And I heard a lot of people speaking about Fences, and I had the opportunity to watch it. And this is my thought as it relates to this movie. It was interesting. It was interesting because of the time in which it was set. I'm actually reading a book right now called Labor of Love, Labor of Sorrow, looking at the struggle of the melanated woman, the so-called black woman, during and after slavery. And so this time period of the 1950s, just looking at the dynamic between the masculine principle and the feminine principle. Here you see Denzel Washington, and in the movie his wife played by Viola Davis. And their relationship is very dynamic because there's a thought process out there. There's a thought process out there that the quote unquote black woman left and abandoned her man. And this is the reason why feminism destroyed the black family. So, in line with, and I guess because this is the lens from which I'm watching the movie, to see that systematic racism and oppression definitely played a role in how their relationship was affected. He speaks of, and I'm gonna be jumping a little bit in the film. I don't want to totally spoil it, but in the film he speaks of 18, he speaks of his father. So this is the mid 50s. He's speaking of his father having 11 children, being a very mean, indifferent type of individual, and basically not having the tools to be a father. And he speaks about his father in a way where he said he wanted him to die because at least he would be at peace. He said that his father would just wish that the children could walk so that he can put them to work, because all he really cared about is getting those bales of cotton. I mean, it's richly layered with what a lot of southern families had at that time, which was they became sharecroppers. And the families, a lot of them, they moved from farm to farm. And that's actually what spoke about in the book. They moved from farm to farm after quote unquote emancipation, or they would stay on to the farms of where the plantations where they originally were, and became with this sharecropper or this deaded system. And so within the movie, he's referring back to this time, and they're caught in between the transition of being so close to slavery and wanting to make something different of themselves, but the stench, the after effects of slavery, segregation, and things of that nature affected their physical family. And so I wanted to get to the family part because that's what I honed in on as it relates to Denzel's character, saying basically he was pretending. He was trying to be all of the things that he needed to be for his family, but there was a part of him that wasn't fulfilled. And this is what happens oftentimes as it relates to Soulonomics. In and of ourselves, we're broken. And we think that the relationship is going to fill those broken spaces. And in Viola Davis's character, she's saying, I gave you everything. I gave you all that I could give you, and that still wasn't enough. And in this movie, it actually damaged their relationship to the point where then at that point they were just existing. He went out, he laid with another woman because in his mind it was an escape. A lot of times in the so-called black community, the escape is either drugs, the escape is extra relationships, the escape is basically it's either alcohol, which he said he'd drink occasionally to escape his reality of being a rubbish picker upper, a trash man, and he wanted to escape his reality, and he leant more towards alcohol on Fridays. And now he's saying that he met this new person that's allowing him to be himself. But in actuality, it kind of was like he was using the individual who later on ended up getting pregnant. And why I say that is because now when his wife is finding out, and this woman passed, I'm giving y'all too much information on this movie. I'm sorry, but hey, it is what it is. When it's like whether or not he's going to take fully responsibility, he's looking at her like, I don't think so. So, for me, it showed a different side of men in a more candid way, of them having conversation amongst themselves, and definitely the dynamic between the son, and I'm gonna keep this short, between the son or his sons and himself. It's kind of like he tried to change what was given to him, but he still passed on some of those things. And that's what a lot of people call the generational curse of the melanated community, where it's like, oh, well, my mama did this and my daddy did this and they didn't give me this and they didn't give me that, so I'm not going to give it to you either. Or if I'm going to give it to you, I'm going to hold it over your head. I'm going to give it with a little resentment, like when his son said, I didn't think you liked me. In real life, I had spoken to, while we were doing the Love Project last year, and someone said to me that yes, a lot of Southern fathers were, very hard with their children, very disconnected, and I think that's a remnant or a residual of slavery, where a lot of men had to distance themselves from their progeny. They had to distance themselves emotionally because the master would A, use that against you, or B, when you had to walk away and you had to choose yourself over them. A lot of men, actually, his friend, I forgot his name right now, he alluded to this by calling it the walking blues. So this movie is layered. I mean, if you're very interesting about this time period, and if you want to substantiate some of the stuff that you're reading or understanding or studying in your studies, and if you want to look at the beginnings or the middle section of what is wrong with the melanated family, there's a lot in there, I'm saying, as it relates to, and I use these things for illustrating that which we are reading and experiencing. So it's not to say Fences is going to give you all of your historic knowledge. I always say that, absolutely not, but it's a good aid. These movies that hopefully I'll be coming with a few more are a good aid to be able to illustrate for you, and myself as well included, what it kind of looks like. How did it go wrong? Where did we mess up at? And how the greater context of the social economic structure of society put pressure on the so-called Black family. And so with that said, if you haven't checked it out already, feel free to check out that movie. I would love to hear your response. And if you have checked it out, let me know what you saw in the film. So with that said, my name is Amuna Yisrael. This has been Soulonomics 101 special edition movie review, Fences. Check it out. 1.